Today we are going to be talking about the 3, almost 4 sicknesses that you might catch the next time you go on a cruise. We are also going to be talking about what we need to keep in mind when we try a new cruise line or when we try a new class of ship within a cruise line. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Saturday. It is December 28th of 2024. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and if you appreciate my updates, please give this video a thumbs up. Let's start at the top with the illnesses that are trending right now in the United States, and interestingly enough, it is what I am hearing people talk about a lot, what they are catching and realizing they have caught as they come home from a cruise right now. As I talk about this, I want you to keep in mind that these illnesses are what are trending in the United States right now. It doesn't matter if you're going on a cruise, flying on an airplane, going to the grocery store, going to school, going to church, wherever it is that you go, that you are going to be in contact with other people. These are the illnesses that are trending. So the fact that we are seeing it on cruise ships as well is not a surprise. So right now, the top 3 sicknesses in the United States are RSV, the respiratory sickness, influenza, usually it's influenza type A is what they are saying they're seeing the most of, as well as norovirus, gastrointestinal issues. And oddly enough, those are the 3 things that we see the most of right now, and it's what I hear people talking about when they are on a cruise or when they get home, because that's what's trending everywhere else, and the number of people seeking medical care for these illnesses has doubled just in the last couple of weeks, and so there's an awful lot of it going around. And so just by nature of what it is, there's a chance that you might catch that the next time you go on a cruise or travel anywhere or go to the grocery store or, like I said, go to work or church or school, whatever it is. So what are some of the things that you can do to try to safeguard yourself? Number 1, we always talk about washing your hands. That is very important. Some sicknesses are airborne, and so you can try to distance yourself from people, but in the end, it is really hard not to catch anything when a lot is going around. So I always feel like my line of defense is when I go on a trip or on a cruise, I always take medicine with me to manage a myriad of things, so that if Gordon or I get sick when we're on the trip, I've at least got medicine with us to take care of us. We always make sure that we've got not only the regular insurance, medical insurance that we have, but we have travel insurance. And so if one of us gets sick and has to seek medical care for it, we've got the insurance to cover it. The third thing that I think is really important is to realize it might happen. I read so very often people go and they are upset. They blame it on the cruise line. Seen a lot of that. They also blame it on other passengers. And really, the truth of it is you can catch it anywhere. They just track it on cruise lines, right? We hear about it as people come off the cruise. We hear about it when we are on the cruise. When you are on an airplane, and nobody stays in contact after you get off that flight to see how many people were sick getting on, how many people got sick while they were on that and came down with it when they got home. Same thing with a lot of other venues that we go to. Nobody tracks anything from the grocery store. So it's just a really interesting situation, but I want you to think about it before you go on your next trip. And if you are someone who cannot tolerate becoming ill, then think about not traveling when the rate of infection is so high for a lot of things. That's the best I've got, and I would love to hear from you all in the comments what other suggestions you've got, what you do to kind of think about to try to safeguard yourself and prepare for when you're going to travel. So thanks for adding your comments below. Now, the other thing, this has been mulling around in my mind an awful lot. I love that I hear from so many people what their experience was on board the ship. Of course, I hear a lot from Princess because we talk about Princess so much here, but I also I hear about people who go on MSC, Norwegian, Royal Caribbean. I hear about some of the higher end like Oceania, a lot of the other cruise lines, and Cunard. I hear about those as well an awful lot. And so there's some things that I want to kind of have you think about with me, and I want to get your feedback on what we need to keep in mind when we try a new cruise line or when we try a ship that is in a different class on the cruise line that we are already on. One thing that stands out with me a lot on this is that things can vary a lot between cruise lines, but they also can vary a lot between different ships in the different class. Let me share the experience that comes to my mind most in my life when I think of this. So before Gordon and I started doing YouTube, we had only sailed on Princess, but because we're doing YouTube now, we wanted to try other cruise lines, and we have really thoroughly enjoyed doing that. On one of the cruise lines that we sailed on, when we got on the ship on embarkation day, we went to eat in one of the venues. During the course of that meal, I said to Gordon, I don't want to eat here again during the time of our cruise. I don't want to. And so we proceeded on with the cruise, had great food and other venues. Everything was fine. But with that experience, I have learned that I probably don't want to book that cruise line, that class of ship again. All right, if I want to eat in that venue. Does that make sense? One important thing I do think it's very, very important to note is as I sat there and thought to myself, I don't want to do this again. After we finished our meal, I did not go track down the manager for that venue and say, here's what's wrong. Here's what I don't like. Here's what I think you ought to change. This is why it's not meeting my expectations. No. That is what that venue is on that ship. And if I don't like it, it's my job not to go there again. It is not their job to change what they are doing to meet my expectations. I think that is a really important thing that we all keep in mind no matter what ship we're going on and what is wrong. If you have, something massively wrong, like for example, in your cabin, your toilet's overflowing and nobody's fixing it, that's a really big problem. That's when you call them in and talk to the manager and say, this is not okay. But generally, they'll fix those things as soon as they know that they happen. One of my favorite stories that I read shared on Facebook was from someone that said that they had been on a ship and like 2:00 in the morning, they had a flood. So like everything in the room is flooded. But immediately the crew came, they dried everything out, they washed their clothes, delivered them back, dried that next morning, and they were fine with it. They just wished that they could have had, the chance to get a little coffee while they were up, because they were up while all of this was getting taken care of, waiting for the crew to do all of this. But they were not upset about it because the crew came and fixed it. And there are some things that happen that are just the nature of traveling. You can't plan on everything. So as we do this, I want you to keep in mind as you try new cruise lines, because you know what? The world is a beautiful, beautiful, wide world out there for us to see. So as you try new cruise lines to go the places you want to go or to try a new experience, keep in mind that some things might be a little bit different. And as we do this, though, it really helps us figure out what it is that we enjoy the most. I have classes of ships that I really enjoy more than other ships. There are some ships that are fine to go on. They're great, but it's not my very favorite. And I'm learning that. And as I do that, I'm trying to schedule my cruises that way. And so I want to challenge you as you do this. Let me know what your experiences have been. Moving forward, keep in mind that things are different, and it is a joy to try new things, see if we like them. Sometimes we love them. Sometimes we think, I'm going to stick with what I've got. And everything, it seems like, is always in motion. Things are changing everywhere. And it's just nice to keep up and have the chance to travel. So let me know what you think, and I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.